Well, it's about 11:15 on Thursday morning. This is the 4th of July, so of course got the day off from work, and what better way to celebrate our national birthday than to do a small barbecue. And I went back and looked at some of my old videos, and I found that I've never done a video of barbecuing ribs. And since I've got a couple of racks of St. Louis style ribs, we're going to do those into today's barbecue. So I'm going to aim this thing down. I hope I can do it correctly and show you the barbecue. We've got it all set up on the smoker, and then we'll look over here, and you can see that I've got the chimney starting to fire up. Boy, it's bright out here today. I'll tell you what, I can't see this little screen on the video camera at all. It's way too bright. So look over here. I think I'm aiming at myself. We'll get the fire started in a few minutes in the smoker, although it's smoking me right now, and get the ribs on. I'm going to use the 3-2-1 method today, which for any of you who are not familiar with it means about 3 hours of smoking, then about 2 hours wrapped in aluminum foil, maybe a little bit longer. I'll make it about 3, 2.5, and then a half, and then about a half an hour, maybe 45 minutes of taking them back out to get the last bit of the smoke into them. So that's the plan for the day, and you'll get to see the highlights of it as I go along. Okay, it's time to throw the lit charcoal on. As you can see, I'm using hardwood charcoal, lump charcoal today, and I've got a small chimney's worth of it. Put that right in the middle. I've got 3 chunks of cherry wood on there, and the bottom vents are open about halfway each. So we'll put this guy on and let it come up to temperature. I'm going to add a little bit of water to the water pan, and that should be it then. We're still working to come up to temperature, but I'm going to move this sawhorse a little bit closer. Or I don't have to, I guess I can hang it this way. I'm going to put the thermometer onto the grill so I can get a temperature on my cooking temperature. I'm not going to stick the probe into the ribs, but I want to know what my grill temperature itself is. And since I bought this handy dandy device here, we'll use it to see what the temperature is on our grill, and we'll compare it to what the dome temperature said. But the last time I looked at this, the dome temperature was significantly different. Showed about 30 or 40 degrees less than the temperature of the electric thermometer. So we'll see how this works today. Come up here, look at me for just a second here now. I'm about to put the meat on. Boy, the temperature on that thing just came up rapidly as the dickens today. I'm going to have to close down the bottom vents a little bit more yet, but I'll do that after I get the meat on. So I've got 2 full racks of St. Louis style ribs that I chopped in half just to make them fit a little bit better on there. And I'll show those to you. I put a rub on them last night. Sorry I didn't show you that. I was fairly low on the commercial rub, which is the one that I usually use, the McCormick's applewood flavor. So I just added a little bit of extra salt and sugar and paprika, and I think onion powder to it, just to stretch it just a little bit. And they're still really lightly rubbed. But Judy asked me to go kind of easy on the rub this time, so we'll get a little bit more smoke and meat flavor. So, okay, let's take a look at the meat. I hope you're aimed at the right direction. There it is. And then I'll take the lid off here. There's the meat over there. Let's aim you over this guy. There you are. Let's see if we can get them to fit on there decent. I may not have enough room for this. I might have to get out the little rib rack stander upper. I think I might have to do that. They're not going to quite fit. Put it there anyways. There we go. Ribs are on the grill. It's about, I'm just a little bit behind schedule. It's about 10 after 11. I was aiming for 11 o'clock, but this is pretty close. Wow, it's bright out here still, isn't it? So it's been about 3 hours since the ribs went on the grill. The thermometer has been, it was up to almost 250 at one point in time. I closed the, can you hear that when the air conditioner turns off? That's great. I closed the openings a little bit to cut off the air, and it's now down to about 220 degrees. I'm going to take the ribs out, wrap them in aluminum foil, and I'll show you that process, at least for the first one, and then there's no point in you watching it 3 more times. But you'll get the idea. So they look very good. Get out some aluminum foil. Talk about bright. Whew, that aluminum foil is ridiculously bright. So there's one of the ribs ready to go. I'm going to start wrapping it, bend it up. Now normally I spritz these with apple juice or apple cider. I don't have that, but I've got a bottle of hard cider that Judy bought. So I'm just going to pour a little bit in with each one of them. And that'll be what I steam with then. There's one. We'll do one more. Well, they're not falling off the bone yet, but you can see how the bone has pulled, the meat has pulled away from those bones. Looks very good to me. Okay, that's enough. Now you can hear the air conditioning's back on again. I'll talk to you in a second when I get the camera aimed at me. See, I've got my, this has got to be about a 30 or 40 year old camp stove of mine. I've had it since, I can't even remember when we got it. But anyways, I want to make some barbecue sauce, and it's kind of hot out here today, and I don't want to add a couple hours worth of cooking in the kitchen to make it, so I'm going to use this. to make my barbecue sauce. Let's just get the old fire started here. There you go, we have fire. Okay, close enough. So we'll put the sauce on here. I've got all the liquid ingredients already in this container, and I'll give you the list of them in just a minute. And I will here, tell you what, look at me. I will put the list of ingredients in the description right down there below me on YouTube, so you can have the full list. And I'll explain a bit more about the barbecue sauce here. I don't know how many of you remember way back in almost the days of the woolly mammoth, but not quite that old, when the Frugal Gourmet was on TV. Now I know that he had some personal issues and his shows are never shown anymore, and that's fine. And I don't condone his personal issues. But he did have some good recipes, and this barbecue sauce is one of his, from his first cookbook. So here's the dry ingredients going in. What I want to do is just bring this up to a simmer and just let it cook for a while. So old cookbook, but here's the list of ingredients for the Frugal Gourmet's Southern barbecue sauce. A teaspoon of salt, a half a cup of granulated sugar, white sugar, a quarter cup of brown sugar, 3 cups of basic brown soup stock, in other words, beef stock, a half a cup of prepared mustard, a quarter cup of white vinegar, an eighth of a cup of liquid smoke. That's his measurement. I don't like it that way. I think that's too much. I went down to a teaspoon. A half a cup of Worcestershire sauce, a cup of tomato paste, a half a teaspoon of crushed red pepper. I tend to go a little bit light on that because we don't like it real hot. And a tablespoon of chili powder. To all of which I'm going to add outside the recipe book. Looking at this, the rest of the hard cider that I used on the ribs. Tell you what, that smoke is, or not the smoke, the sweat is getting in my eyes. It's getting hard to stand out here. Anyways, that's it. I'm going to stir this. Just let the flavors get all together. And we'll put the lid on part way because I want it to just really go slow and reduce a little bit. I have to keep my eye on it because if it gets too dry, the sugars can burn. But that's going to be our barbecue sauce for our ribs tonight. So I'll be back to you in another couple hours after this gets reduced nicely, and when it's time to unwrap the ribs and let them have their last bit of drying and just becoming perfect for dinner. Well, it's about a couple minutes before 5 o'clock in the evening. You may be able to tell that by the fact that there's now shade in the backyard here and we're not under the hot sun that we were this morning as I started this process. And I've taken the ribs back out of the aluminum foil and just set them onto the grate on the smoker for their last few minutes. I did that while the camera was inside recharging because, well, the battery was just about shot. So here we are. Let's aim this down and take a look at the ribs. How do those look? I mean, to me, they're spot on for perfect. But, whoa. You know, it's hard to move this thing in the right direction and make it visible in the camera. Oh, there's smokiness to the meat. There's just a hint of the rub that I put on there, but it's not overwhelming like it has been on occasion when I've done this before. So I think these are perfect. The sauce I took off about 15 minutes ago. It has reduced by about a third down, so 2/3 of it are left. And the taste is fantastic. So the ribs are great, falling off the bone great, and the sauce is delicious. The rest of the meal is going to be potato salad that I bought at the grocery store and beans that I bought at the grocery store, baked beans. So I'm looking forward to a great meal tonight. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, and if you like my recipes and what I'm doing here, I would very much appreciate if you would subscribe to my videos, to my channel, and we'll see you again the next time I do a video. Thank you. Bye-bye.